Alright, welcome back, Outcasts. So, that last video was about a half hour long. I'd started to relocate this mulch behind me, spreading it out around the rig, and a thunderstorm showed up, which is fine. There's plenty of work to do inside and out, so I get to just kind of roll with the weather. It's not going to keep me from getting things done. But picking off from where I left off, Mother Nature has a way of laughing at our plans and keeping us humble. So so does karma. I don't really know where karma fits in, but I'll get back to that perspective another day. This mulch situation, right? So I'm spreading the cedar mulch, which cost me about $300 for I think 5 or 7 yards of it, over the cheap mulch, which is right behind me, which I got for free from a local tree service who needed a place to dump his waste. So I'm taking that cheap mulch and putting it on my ground cloth, and then going and covering the cheap mulch with my cedar mulch, which is used for insect deterrents. And it looks nice and smells great too. A lot of y'all might be asking, why am I doing this? Retired U.S. Navy commander, 20 years of service, got a pension, got a little more resources on the side, and I'm doing it for me. So since the divorce in 2023, I was roaming around East Texas and Southeast Texas trying to figure out where I was going to go, what I was going to do. And I was staying in East Texas to make the trip for my kids shorter, going to and from their hometown now, which was about 3 hours away from the East Texas region. That's Tyler, east of Tyler, Kilgore, Henderson, that area. And my two teens have decided, you know, they're not interested in leaving their lives down there to come hang out with me. And the two tweens now, well, a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old, are beginning to lean toward that same direction. And that really hit home when I drove down there to watch soccer games and basketball games, and the tweens they only saw me at the basketball game, didn't want to really hang out otherwise. And I'm not sure where that's coming from, but that's nothing I can change. So with my family members up here in Northeast Texas, getting up in age, can use some assistance, and with resources that I fortunately have through the family at my disposal, to me it just seemed kind of asinine to remain in East Texas for easier access, more often access to my kids. So that, along with geopolitical environment, rising costs, the war in Iran, my VA education benefits paying about 20% more here in Collin County than they do over in East Texas counties. Wanting to build a completely off-grid homestead in the mid to far out future, for me, this was the right move, because I'm fortunate to have resources that I can use here, to where I don't have to start from scratch. And look here, I forgot to put on my audio, so this audio is probably going to suck. It's inside, and I'm not going to run over there and get it, stop the video. Again, I'm learning. I was a content creator 3 or 4 years ago. Got a lot of skill sets then, but I've forgotten a lot of it. So it's coming back to me, and I'll try to remember next time to have my audio, so the audio is a lot better than probably what this video is. So yeah, so in an attempt to take care of me first so I can be ready to take care of others when they need it, I decided to move back home. And this is my Granny and Pa's place, which I've got a lot of fond memories of. We spent Christmas and Thanksgiving here. My granddad was a vice president of a company out of Dallas, and he had a little hobby farm here. Unfortunately, it burnt down to the ground in 2018, and my first initial effort is going to be to try to reclaim this place and get it back under control. Hence, that's what we're doing. Oh, also, this fifth wheel rig I bought and purchased this specific one, a bunkhouse, in anticipation of having my kids every first, third, and fifth weekend of the month. That hasn't happened either. I also planned on having me a 1-ton vehicle to pull this rig with and go see them, and that hasn't happened yet either. So yeah, for now, I'm focused on me and me alone. And yeah, a lot of you are gonna say, "Oh, you're selfish, you're a terrible dad," and all this trash, and you're welcome to your opinions. You're not walking in my shoes. So have your opinion, keep it to yourself, or put it out there. I don't care. It doesn't make me any difference. You'd like to come visit me one day and sit down over a hot or cold drink, I'll be glad to discuss. We can even debate if you want to, but it's all in perspective. There are no right answers. There's only different perspectives, and that's what I like most about talking with people and discussing things. But you might see in my YouTube description or whatnot some links to different sites, and a lot of that stuff is going to probably refer to my first name, which I decided to start going by my middle name a couple of, year and a half, 2 years ago. And my dad, he started doing the same thing like 5 years ago for some reason. And his first name is the same as his dad's, my granddad's first name, but my old man didn't pass down the name to me. Now, I've never really been too fond of my first name. I try to articulate it, and people don't understand what I'm saying a lot of the times. Or I get a call from a service personnel and they pronounce it wrong. And now, even going by Heath, I got to say it 2 or 3 times because sometimes people think I say Keith. And it's like, whatever, man. Like, I like the name. I resonate with the Joker too, especially Heath Ledger's playing of the Joker back in The Dark Knight, and maybe that had a little bit to do with me deciding to go with my middle name. Also, I'm a big silver proponent in the sound money system. It's actually backed by something physical and not fiat currency. So I just gave you an insight into my monetary and economics knowledge, which is important. But the initials JHS go well with just hold silver. So, it works. I jokingly referred to myself as a wordsmith back in, 2020, 2021, 2022. And that was a result of, in all honesty, my educational background. So I'm highly overeducated. I've got 4 degrees at this point, which I don't have that crap hanging on the wall, and I don't bring it up much or often. But I believe that education, and the joke is the BS is for bullshit, the Masters of Science is for more shit, and the PhD is piled higher and deeper. And as much experience as I've had with academics over the years, especially in higher academia, and then thinking back to my K through 12 experience, and I'm a big Robert Kiyosaki fan, Rich Dad Poor Dad author as well, and he's highly critical of the academic so-called education system. And his dad was in it as well. His real dad, or his poor dad, actually was an academic also, whereas his rich dad was an entrepreneurial businessman. Yeah, so back to the Bachelor's of Science teaches you that let's see, how did it go? I forget what the bachelor's taught me. Looking back on it, my bachelor's taught me, Bachelor's of Science in Geology, engineering option. That taught me that there are rabbit holes inside specific professions that are endless, and you can get stuck inside of a vortex and not be able to see any other perspective. And then to extend on that, there was a report a number of years ago out of Washington State where a landslide had happened, and geologists had done a study of that event, of that potential event, a few years ahead of time, and it sat on a shelf or in a computer file and wasn't shared with people who could actually act upon it. Right, is my understanding. So what good is it? And I'll come back to this point momentarily. And then I went and got an MBA, and 5 years after that, another Master's of Science degree. But the MBA taught me that words matter. And why do words matter? Well, take any profession you may be in. Let's say nursing, for instance. Well, if you use one term for a specific tool, but it's really meant for another tool, or you use one word for a condition or disease, but it really means something else, then is that okay? Of course not. Life and death decisions, right, are based on words and assumptions. Back in the military, we would say the acronym ASSUME. Make assumptions, you assume, and you make an ass out of you and me. And that's true. Right? So the MBA taught me that words matter. And then my Master's of Science degree in Global Supply Chain and Logistics Management with a focus on the energy industry and specifically the distribution and transmission power grids taught me that questions matter. And as I was coming out of that Master's of Science degree at National Defense University in Washington, D.C., I put the idea of words mattering from an MBA and the idea of questions mattering from a Master's of Science program. And as I began to write a book, I thought to myself, the questions we ask with the words we carefully choose matters the most. And I believe that to my core. Because if we can't talk amongst each other with the common understanding of vocabulary, there is no communication and nobody's educated. Where I get into strife with a lot of people sometimes is I want to make sure we're talking the same language. That is, they're using words that they understand to know, and that I am interpreting the words they're using with the correct definitions and the definitions that they're using. And that makes the conversation really difficult a lot of times. But it's important. So looping back around to the monetary system, right? Money. Money. What's money? Well, a lot of you might, if you still hold it, are gonna pull out and say, hey, this is money, this $20 bill. And then what am I going to immediately say? Is that a bill? And you'll go, yeah, it's a bill. I'll be like, show me where the word bill exists anywhere on that piece of paper, on that money. I'll give you a close look. Is that clear? It's backwards. Can you read backwards? You see bill anywhere on this? If you can't read that, then get your own look for it. It's not bill, and frankly, it's not money either. That's a fiat currency, and it's a fiat currency created by the Federal Reserve, who call it a note. All right, so those are Federal Reserve notes that we are forced to use as our currency. And up until 1972 and up until 1933, our Federal Reserve note was backed by money, which was metal at the time, which was gold. So true, real money is backed by something tangible that's worth something. Currency can be created out of nothing, put on some paper, okay, so it's got a little bit of value to it. But the more you create of it, the less valuable it gets. That's the reason your prices of everything arising, partial reason. There's other supply chain forces at effect, and I can get into all that, but you don't care. Most likely, if you do, make some comments down below and let me know, and I'll talk more about supply chain. Because that's what I did in the Navy. I was a supply chain officer with the U.S. Navy, and did logistics, some logistics work as well, but mainly supply chain management at the very end of the supply chain. So yeah, money, currency, credit, interest rates. I'm passionate about all that stuff, and I understand it better than most, I believe. I think I could sit down with Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve and rip him a new one with respect to a debate on the currency and the money system, because he's a lawyer, as a talking figurehead, as he reads from a piece of paper saying what people want him to say. So yeah, that's a little bit of background about me. I'm not actually the introductory video that I planned on doing. I'm going to do it more formal, and whenever I get this beautiful beard, not Bill, this big beautiful beard groomed up a little bit this evening. Actually, I got a hair salon appointment tonight, beard salon appointment tonight. Maybe I'll take y'all along for that. All right, well, that's enough for now. That's 16 minutes, longest video I've done in over 3 years. And I look forward to building this community with you guys. Who out there are outcasts? Who are the rebels? Who are tired of being succumbed to the system, captured by the system, trapped in the system? Let's stay weird together. To your liberty. The Outcast Commander is out.